Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a rip-roaring rally, and I just can't believe the market's green. Oh, why is it green? I tell you what, guys. I mean, it's amazing. It is. If you remember, by the way, make sure you look in Patreon or Discord for a statement I put in there to summarize everything that's going on. Okay, guys, and why you're seeing this rally. Does that mean we're going to all-time new highs? No, it does not. Does that mean we're going up? Sure could from here. I'd like a nice little pullback. That would be nice before we did. But, when we go to the charts, I'll show you that. Very important. Don't miss that. The critical levels you need to see here. Now, and why some stocks actually did go up, right? It's amazing how it works. Again, Apple's reporting tonight, after this video's already been out by then. And we'll see how that goes. But, what do we talk about? Simple. We're coming in November. So it's one of, if not the most bullish month of the year. This and April usually are two most bullish months. We're just getting the stocks have been creamed. The index has been selling off for 3 months. A lot of stocks were down huge just in October alone, oversold territory. And wow, and other stuff happened, right? I don't cover the Treasury stuff for my health. When that stuff come out, I said just watch, see what happens to yields. If they come out and issue less and don't go with the longer term dated bonds, if the Fed don't raise rates, and if 9 other banks have paused too with them, 9 other central banks, it's amazing how it works, right? You get these. Doesn't mean it's going to the moon, but it's been a nice move up, 6% on the SPY in like 6 days or 5%, whatever it is. It's a big move for the SPY. That's a big move. Matter of fact, this is the biggest weekly candle in over a year, I believe it is. And so it's been one of those kind of weeks, right? So shorts have been covering voluntarily and some involuntarily. That's what this is. And earnings, of course, as I say many times, where's the earnings apocalypse? Does anybody see it? I don't see it yet. People have been calling for it for over a year and a half. Still ain't here, right? Now, for the stocks that are very sensitive to these rates being up here, they're feeling it, right? But for tech, whole different ball game, right? Whole different ball game for tech. And what is the market? It's tech. Right? That's what it is. That's what drives this freaking market. I'll show you that in just a second, what I'm talking about. Something you can do to make it actually easier for you just to track the Mag 7 if you have TradeView. Now, does that mean the economy's good? Absolutely not. Stronger than what people think. Manufacturing is a disaster right now. Absolute disaster, right? And you can see it. U.S. manufacturing activity contracts by more than forecast. Index near weakest level since 2020 on declining orders. So yes, not looking good. In contraction. Been in contraction since 2022, right? Still going down. Been going down since 2021. But again, what do? Most of our stuff's made in China, overseas, right? That's why manufacturing takes a backseat to services, because services are 70% of our economy. ISM manufacturing report came out today, right? What's happening? Down here in the gutter, right? But guess what? Been here before. If you look at these other 2 squares, right? That right there was the start of the biggest bull market ever in our history. And this right here was the start of the dot-com bubble, or right before the dot-com bubble. So, we have been here before. Maybe this is what this means. I don't know. We'll have to see. But again, the manufacturing data is, hot garbage. That's just the where we're at. And the market's like, whatever, we don't care about that. Even the services data has been rolling over, but the market doesn't care. And I'll explain why in just a minute. Then I told you I was going to show you this one when it comes to the interest rates and the yield and all that good stuff. And the one reason we're not in a recession is because company locked in, especially the big ones, those long duration bonds at low rates. And I showed you Microsoft and Google and how much interest income in the hundreds of millions they are bringing in. Is the smaller companies that are suffering under the rates when they stay longer. What they try to say, we're going to stay higher for longer. Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Higher for longer. So, but that's just a whole nother reason. And of course, on our money and rich people, they are absolutely raking in the dough by drawing 4 to 6% on their income. Okay. Now, things to watch here, very important. QQEW. Told you to make sure you put this on your watch list and all that good stuff. It's the equal weighted ETF. What was the best performer of the day? Is it QQQ or QQEW? Well, look at that. QQEW over 2%, QQQ 1.79. Also, the RSP, which is the equal weighted S&P, outperformed the SPY. Why did this happen? And this is another reason you saw this overall rally and why SPY was actually strong in the Qs today. Look at this. Look at that to the right. That's real estate, energy. Look at all this. Where is XLK? Where is XLC? Those have been the 2 top performers. You know where they're at? They had a good day, but they're at the bottom, right? They're even behind utilities, of all things. And you can't see the C down there, but that's communications. It was the caboose today, pulling up the rear. Now, the S&P 500 again. And before we continue, guys, please hit that like button there at the bottom. Give it a thumbs up. Helps people find the video. And if you like this kind of content, think about subscribing. I appreciate all you guys' support. And there's the weekly candle. You just start scrolling across. You go, well, maybe right here in July, maybe that candle rivals it. Again, we ain't done to tomorrow yet. I mean, tomorrow, if it's a green day, that candle's going to get even bigger. But again, what's happened? We filled fair value gaps, mitigated those, right? Filled some RTH gaps, those red trading hour gaps on the way down, right? They were left on this big move down. You can see all those red candles right there. And we're sitting in a volume gap to the right, and it's moved up, right? It's moved up big time, leaving gaps behind, leaving fair value gaps behind that may be mitigated, may not at some point in time. We'll have to see. But you can see until it gets past this one, we're still in a downtrend, right? Still in a downtrend. And so until it gets past that October high, you're still in a downtrend. But it is at that level that's got a lot of people curious now to see if this is actually going to continue, especially since it's in that volume gap to the right. So it can continue to move up, and it's only 1.64% away from that. Now, what would be healthy if this market's going to continue up? Obviously, that gap right there get filled, move down, mitigate some fair value gaps would be nice, and then move up. It does have that trend line right there that's sitting on top of now that it closed above. But you can see why it stopped. As soon as it hits resistance, it finally got stopped because obviously a 2% move is freaking huge, by the way. And that line goes all the way back to 09 right there, as you can see. Support, resistance, support. And so now it moved back above it. And so we'll see if it can hold that or not. Again, tomorrow's Friday, so you got a lot of shenanigans when you got options expiring on a Friday. But it's been, 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles in a row now. And so, like I said yesterday, November, especially the first couple days, usually the top 4 days, are your most bullish in November. We'll see if it continues. Now, Tesla. Huge day today. Big move up, right? And what have I told you about Tesla? Tesla does not move on fundamentals. I know it hurts people's feelings. It does not move on fundamentals, people. What you're looking for is call sweeps to start flying in on Tesla. I've been saying it for over a week and a half. All of a sudden, boom, they hit the tape right here. Here comes, you look for the sweeps, those $1 million sweeps come rolling in. 4.4 million, 834K, 1 million. And then who's the most bullish options of the day? Not even close. Tesla, the most traded stock in the world, especially when it comes to options right here, right? And so I know I had my call option bought yesterday, and so it paid off, right? And I'm telling you, if you look at this right here, obviously it's sitting in this enormous volume gap, right? If it can continue to move, if the call options continue to flow in, and for those who don't understand how this works, the process works, people start buying call options, the bears have to start covering, the shorts have to start covering, and when they start buying call options, the market makers have to hedge what they're doing when it starts to make these big moves up, and they have to start buying the stock. That's how they hedge, and then it just continues to move up and burn more shorts and more shorts and all this good stuff, and they have to cover, which means they have to buy the stock, and it gets on these crazy runs right now. That's going to continue. We'll have to see. Again, it's at resistance right there, and if you've ever wondered sometimes like, wow, why this stock stop, maybe you don't see a resistance or whatever, pull up the moving averages on it, because what it did today, it ran smack face into a brick wall called the 200 moving average, right? That's what happened. It stopped right at the 200 moving average today and just couldn't get above it. So again, because obviously it's below all its moving averages, but it's back in this channel right here, this falling channel. It's left a gap behind now. And so again, that's what we talked about. Are we going to have accumulation or just go on one of these crazy runs? Personally, I hope we get a pullback. If you are a long-term Tesla bull, you better hope there's a pullback too, because I'm sure you'd rather be buying between 200 and 208 than buying at 225, 240, and 250. All right. So again, but we'll have to see. Watch the options flow tomorrow. It's Friday. We'll see. You get a lot more lower volume on Fridays. Most people don't participate on Fridays because they don't want to carry into the weekend. If it does continue tomorrow, watch out for 225. If we actually get the sell-off, watch for the bottom of that gap right there, which I think will put you right around 206 if I'm not mistaken. Now, Nvidia, again, I always say it's Nvidia. Don't count it out. That head and shoulders is negated. It broke above, closed above that neckline, and now it moved up even higher and leaving another gap behind. Because what happened? Qualcomm reported earnings. It was AMD the day before that brought up semiconductors. It was Qualcomm yesterday reported earnings went up, and that started dragging stuff up with it, right? Again, when we go to the shorter time frames, we'll go ahead and add this gap in here. So now it has another gap if it decides to come down and fill it or not. And when we look out here a little bit, you can see if it can absolutely break through that resistance right there. You see that huge gap up there? Definitely can run to 445. if it continues that. If not, obviously come back down, fill that RTH gap, which I think would be nice, but I'm not in control of the market. So just keep that in mind. And you got these gaps just because look how this thing's been moving up on that one that we did have that head and shoulders right there. Now, PayPal, obviously, FinTech's been getting some love here, reported earnings. It came up, and people are like, I'm missing the boat. It's leaving without me. And I'm like, well, not really here, guys. Let's go ahead and take a view here. Again, you always got to pan out. Nope, it didn't leave without you. This thing has been a falling wedge which it fell out of. All it's been doing is declining. So, oh boy, a lot of damage here, okay? Now, something important to understand here is trying to move up. That's great. This is the 30-week moving average. I guess you can call this base now if you want. Usually in stage one, you get in this zone where you'll just sit here and trade sideways, building out support. Maybe that's what it's trying to do, but you got to get above the 30-week moving average. Now, something important PayPal is doing. Obviously, their cash flow was good. They report on earnings. This is actually big because they have a big share buyback program. And you can see right here, they ramped it up. As this stock came down, I mean, they bought the brakes off of it, man. They were just buying like crazy. And so as it just kept falling, they kept buying. And they get to start buying again, I think, starting Monday or Tuesday. And you can bet money they're probably going to be buyers, right? So just keep that in mind on that one. Now, Palantir, somebody requested this. Obviously up huge on earnings. You got your MACD crossing that zero line now, about to have a bullish cross. It ended up, sorry, above a 200, but it gapped up above its 50 and its 100 now, leaving a huge regular trading hours gap right here, which we'll probably visit at some point in time. But as you can see, back in that zone, which I've had marked out forever and a day, you can see where it stopped at resistance, right? The volume profile works again. Look at that. And so, you know, when you look at some of the stuff when it comes to their earnings right here, you can see why. I mean, if you go to right to left, increasing the revenues, increasing the clients, you can look at all the data for yourself right there. But when we go into, you know, looking at a bigger picture here, I swear that to the left looks very similar to what's going on the right. I mean, that formation, you see, there's where we would be right now. And then you get a bigger spike up and then a huge sell-off, right? And so, but again, if this thing right here can make it above around, what is that going to be, like $19 right there? You see that volume gap right there? That thing can run to 24. I said that months ago, but again, it's got to get out of this zone we're talking about because that's when it runs into resistance. That's just the way it's moved. That's what's happened. Those are the low volume areas. Again, there's still a gap that's been there forever, ready to fill. So we'll see if this continues or not. If I'm a Palantir long-term holder, I hope it kind of pulls back some and then moves up. But again, we might be in one of these parabolic type moves. Now, Shopify, another one, earnings, huge gap up over 20% today. You can see it was oversold, sitting in a falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern anyway. Hit that resistance. It's like the volume profile shows you. Type in VRBP in your trade view. It'll come up, right? So if it gets above that, and it loves to trade between that 50 and 70 range, right? You could have bought this like 3 different times over the last 6 months at $50, and you would have made huge money, right? So next resistance would be around 65 if we continue to move up on this one. Again, it's above its 200. It's 50 now and closed above the 50-day. And so this one, again, loves this zone. And, you know, maybe it moves up to 70. It won't mean nothing until it gets past that 65 area. But this one moves fast. And, I mean, that was such a huge move a day. That was incredible. I think it was like 26% at one point in time. Now, looking at no earnings to worry about. It's going to affect markets. There is a boatload of economic data. You'll have average hourly earnings coming out, government payrolls, manufacturing payrolls, non-farm payrolls. And then you're going to have the participation rate and the unemployment rate, which they expect to stay the same again. Then you're going to get after the opening bell, global composite PMI services, and then you're going to get the ISM services data, right? We showed the manufacturing data is garbage, right? It's terrible. Now we get to see what the services comes in at. And then you'll have a bunch of Fed speakers coming out. So again, it's Friday, so buckle up for what could be a very volatile day indeed. And remember, most of that comes out after the bell. So maybe the initial move isn't going to be the real move. And with Apple reporting, you know, think about this much. All the big boys are reporting except Nvidia, so that'll be the only earnings people are looking for. And so far, AMD's killed it, Qualcomm's killed it. You know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, though. Let me know what you think is going to happen tomorrow from here going forward for the rest of November. Are you green, red, or what? So anyway, hope you guys got something out of it. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did. Appreciate all of you, and I'll see you later.